Hey, what's poppin' everybody? My name is Chimichangas28 and welcome back to yet another gaming video where today I wanted to do a tier list of all the farms on the Minecraft Bedrock edition. Now the original video idea for this did come from Silent Whisper. If you guys want to check out his channel, the link to that will be in the description. But let's just go ahead and hop right into it, guys, with the very first thing, which is general mob farms. Now these are the farms that you actually build. These are not the spawner versions of the farms. So let's go ahead and hop into it. So with the very first thing, and I'm kind of thinking that this is a B-class farm, just because they supply a lot of gunpowder and a lot of bone meal and string and other things that are really important. And you can just build them pretty much anywhere, and they're really not that complicated. It's kind of boring to build them, but they are super nice to have around. So I'm going to put that in B. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. Now, the next thing I want to do is an Enderman farm. Now, these are a little bit challenging to rank, because you can only build them in the end. But Ender Pearls are really nice, and the EXP isn't bad either, but I am going to throw them in B as well, just because of the fact that you do have to be in the end to actually farm them. Although with the 1.16 update, that might be changing with the spawn rates of the Warped Forest, I believe it is. So let's just go ahead and move on with the Phantom Farm, which is a really interesting one, because the Phantom Farm, I don't know, I'm gonna have to put this one in a C, actually, because once you get mending books, there's not a point to this farm. They are super interesting, however. They are really fun to build, so I'm gonna put that up there, and we're just gonna have to get rid of that. And now, Wither Auto Killers. Now this is a super interesting one, because they're slow, but they're super reliable as well. They're incredibly slow, killing the withers, and they're really annoying on the Bedrock edition, because you can't actually hit the wither while it's being suffocated in the Tic Tac Ender Portal frame, as I call them. So I'm gonna put these probably in a D. Well, yeah, let's put it in a D. It's better than fighting the wither, but they're so slow, but they are reliable, which is nice. So let's go ahead and move on now to creeper farms. Now these are the actual specialized creeper farms, the ones that just spawn creepers. We're going with an A for this one. We're not going quite to X tier yet, but definitely a fantastic farm. I use Navy Nexus's design personally. Absolutely fantastic. So let's go ahead and talk about witch farms. This is the next one. Witch farms on the Bedrock edition are not good. They're actually really bad, because the drop rate is ridiculous. We're gonna put that in E, because of the amount of work that you put in. What you get back is just not worth it. So let's go ahead and get rid of that and move on to AFK fish farms. Now, technically, if you're on certain platforms and you can't install a auto clicker, then it's not really AFK. So I'm gonna put them in C class, just because they're nice to have, but only in some circumstances when you can actually AFK at them. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one now, which is music disc farms. This is an interesting one, because music discs are almost a bragging rights thing. It's not really something that's useful to the game, but they are pretty fun to build, so I'm going to put them in C, just because I do quite like building them. So let's go ahead and move on to cocoa bean farms. These are useless, let's be honest, they are useless. I'm putting that straight into Z tier. They're useless, you have to build them super big to actually get any kind of reasonable rates. They're just not good. So let's go ahead and move on to the kelp farm, which is actually a really good one. Kelp farms are pretty slow, generally. However, if you use 0 tick, then they can be quite fast. So I'm going to put this in probably in B tier, because you can use these as a fuel source if you smelt them into kelp blocks, and at that point they are a fantastic fuel source. So let's go ahead and talk about chorus fruit farms. But to be honest, I don't really see a point in having these. They're okay, they get good rates, but that's sometimes if you really know what you're doing. If you 0 tick them, I guess, or whatever. I don't know too much about them, to be honest. I don't think I've ever built one, because there's never really been a need for it. So I am going to put that in F. So let's go ahead and talk about slime farms now. This is going to be the a chunk-based slime farm that we're talking about. Oh my goodness. This could be our very first X tier farm. I love these things. If you can find a slime chunk in your world, these things are invaluable. They are incredibly good, and they're really simple to make as well. So I would highly recommend, if you haven't already and you do have a slime chunk in your world, go ahead and put one of these in. It's gonna help you out so much. So let's go ahead and move on to any real crop farm. I mean, they're useful for villager breeding, I guess, but they are gonna go in D, just because it's a bone meal dispenser. That's all it is. So it's not really that great of a farm. It's pretty boring. So let's go ahead and move on now to the Guardian farm. Now this is going to be our second X tier farm. These things are absolutely amazing. They are the best source of XP on the Minecraft Bedrock edition, and they're fantastic in almost every single way. They give great XP, and they have awesome drops that you can get, like sea lanterns, and they also provide an unlimited supply of food as well if you eat cod, which is fantastic. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is the Blaze farm, the spawner farms. Now these are so slow, guys. They're ridiculously slow. Blazes, of course, have really good drops. They are a fantastic fuel source. However, unless you get a multi-blaze spawner, which are incredibly rare, they're really not that great. So they're going to be going in D for right now. I think just because their rates are so trash. Nether wart farms, they're incredibly slow, and they're not really... I don't think there's any way to actually automate it either, so they are going to be going in E. So, it can be useful, but just not right now. Now, ice farms. Now, this is one that I actually really like. I love farming ice. It's not the most useful, but I feel like that could go in A class right there. I really like ice farming. Now, mushroom farms. Why? What are you ever going to need mushrooms for? I don't know personally. Maybe there is some use, but I don't really see a point of them. Sugarcane farms are the next one. I really like these, actually. Sugarcane is a thing that I really like to do, even when it's not zero ticking. I do really like sugarcane. It's a great thing to have, especially in trading halls and things like that. So I'm actually going to be putting this in the B class. I really, really like these so much. They're so much fun to actually do. Cactus farms, they're useful, but they are going to be going in D, just because the farm itself actually causes losses unless you do zero tick. But a lot of people don't use zero tick on the Bedrock edition because it is a little bit more confusing. So I don't really think that we're going to be putting that too high. Now let's move on to one of the... I hate these. I hate vine farms with a burning passion. So, I mean, honestly, I can see where they're useful, but just go to a swamp. That's all you gotta do. Just find a swamp. It's better than setting up a farm. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is log farms, which, tree farms, which you would, expect me to do quite high. It's the most viewed video on my channel, is a tree farm. Unfortunately, though, okay, so if the TNT blowing up every single block it gets, this will be an X-rate farm, but we are going to put the actual farm itself down into a C class because it's not lossless unless you use a wither, and that's pretty challenging to do. So we are going to put it there in C class, which is a little bit of a lower rating I think you might find. But still, cobblestone farms, they're useful, but they're not useful, because if you do enough mining, then they're really not that useful. But we are going to put this in C as well, just because you can get cobblestone AFK, which is super, super nice. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about mob spawner farms. These are super useful in the early game, but they are so slow. They are so slow. They're great for getting early, you know, bone meal and stuff, and a little bit of EXP when you're just starting to get into enchanting. But other than that, they're pretty much useless. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. Nether fortress farms, I absolutely love these things because of the amount of wither skulls you can actually get. This is going to be an A class farm because whereas they're not the fastest, they are absolutely fantastic. So let's go ahead and move on now to the... Didn't we already do these? Yeah, we did. Okay, I don't know why that was on there twice. My bad, guys. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about raid farms. This is going to be an X class farm. Unlimited totems of undying. Unlimited everything when it comes to emeralds, saddles. that is going to be a fantastic farm for you guys to build. And by the way, if you guys do go check out Silent Whisper's channel, he has a fantastic raid farm design that I actually personally use. So go ahead, if you do go and check out his channel for this video idea, make sure you look up his raid farm. It's absolutely fantastic. Snowball farms, this is an interesting one. If the changes to combat do come to Bedrock Edition, these are going to go much higher up, because right now in the combat snapshots, these are extremely overpowered, but right now they don't have too much of a use, so we're going to put them in D class. So let's go ahead and throw that there. Now let's go ahead and move on to Trident farms. Now these are technically zombie monster spawners, but honestly, with the amount of Trident killers that I use in my farms and in my worlds, that is going to be an X-Class farm. These are fantastic to have, and they save you so much time. So make sure that you try to find some of those. Chicken farms is going to be going in B-Class. As you guys know, I love myself a good chicken farm. But they kind of, besides food, really, they don't have too much usefulness, but I love building them, and I really love how simple they are as well. So let's go ahead and move on now to ink farms. These are decently useful, I guess, if you do a lot of book and quills and stuff like that. This is going to be a C-class farm to me. They are pretty big and annoying to farm. Anyway, so let's go ahead and move on to bamboo farms. These things are absolutely nuts. Their rates are crazy. We're going to be putting them inside of A class. They're crazy, especially if you zero tick. Even if you don't zero tick, the rates are pretty incredible. So let's go ahead and just move on now to the flower farm. It depends on the design that you use. You can zero tick flowers on the Bedrock edition of the game. I personally don't. I don't see a use for it. I mean, honestly, except for dyes, and really, I personally use a bone meal thing. I showed this off in my 5 simple farms video, and if I've done this correctly, that should be at the top of your screen right now. But anyway, so these farms are good, but they're okay at best. So we're going to be putting these in D as well. They're pretty okay when you need dyes, but other than that, they're pretty useless. Melon and pumpkin farms. This is an interesting one just because of the fact it's great for villager trading, but it doesn't have that much use beyond. So this is actually going to be a B-class farm because the rates are pretty decent as well. I personally prefer sugarcane farms to melon and pumpkin farms for when I'm trading with librarian villagers, but you guys may have differing views. I use zero tick, but let's go ahead and talk about honey farms. These are amazing. I actually personally don't know how to farm honey. I know there are some designs out there for automatically farming honey. However, I don't personally know how it works because I don't really use slime blocks or honey blocks, but when I do, absolutely fantastic thing to have. So that's going to be going in B. Now, gold farms, you guys already know where this is going. This is going to be going in the X section. These are amazing farms. I love these things. I use Navy Nexus's design for these, the 90,000 XP an hour. I absolutely love this, and I've heard rumblings that it's also getting an upgrade before long on one of his community posts. So if you guys want to go and check that out, I highly recommend it. It is, I would say, one of the best source of EXP, and it'll work with no matter your mob cap. So let's go ahead and talk about the very final farm of today's video, which is iron farms. Now this is a little bit of an interesting one because on the Bedrock edition of the game, they're pretty trash. I'm not gonna lie. We only get like 40 ingots per hour, but they are getting buffed, at least from what we saw in the beta, to something stupid like 320, and they are fantastic to have anyway. So I'm gonna also be putting these in X, especially with the newest farm, the newest versions of the farm that we see. So that is actually it for the video. So let's go ahead and go over what we have in X tier. We have the slime farm, the guardian farm, the raid farm, the trident farm, the gold farm, and the iron farm. Now let's go ahead and go down to A, which is creeper farm, ice farm, we have nether fortress farm, and bamboo farm. B, we have general mob farms, enderman farms, kelp farms, sugarcane farms, chicken and feather farms, melon and pumpkin farms, and honey farms. Now moving on to C, we have phantom farms, AFK fish farms, music disc farms, we have tree farms, cobblestone farms, and ink farms. In D, we have wither auto killers, and actually, I should probably put that one in B, now that I think about it. But any crop farm, blaze spawners, cactus farms, snow farms, and flower farms. In the E class, we have witch farms, netherwart farms, monster spawner farms. And then in F, we have chorus fruit farms. And then finally in Z, we have cocoa farms, mushroom farms, and vine farms, which is actually going to do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on the video. If you guys want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe. If you guys think I missed anything or what you think of my list, go ahead and put that in the comment section down below. And real quick, before I go, I just want to say only a small percentage of the people that actually watch this channel are actually subscribed. So if you guys could do me a favor and hit that big red button down below, that would mean so much to me. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me, and I will see you guys in the next gaming video. Goodbye, guys.